Good morning, everybody. I would like to begin by welcoming everyone to this meeting of the Assets and Procurement Committee here at New Shire Hall and everyone watching via YouTube. The County Council allows filming photography at its public meetings, so please feel free to take pictures and use social media during the meeting. Can I ask, though, that everyone present turns their mobile phones to silent or vibrate whilst the meeting is taking place? There is no fire alarm test scheduled for today, so if the alarm sounds, please leave by the nearest marked fire exit and assemble in the car park. The closest fire escape is through the middle doors on my left. This is the last Assets and Procurement Committee of this electoral term. As we may well go into confidential session at the end of the meeting, I would like to begin the meeting with the thanks I would normally reserve for my concluding comments. This committee has only been going for 2 years, but we have achieved a lot in that time. By dedicating a committee to both council assets and council procurement, we have carved out the space we need to give these areas proper scrutiny, and we have seen the results of this through a council with a clear property strategy and ability to make decisions about council properties, which will save over £1.5 million and help us reach net zero for council assets by 2030. We've seen council procurement get tighter and respond to new government rules, tracking the progress of how council procurement is working. We have sold council property at above guide prices, bringing in nearly £2 million of receipts, and seen some old favourites come back again and again to this committee. This committee has overseen a whole new approach to how we maintain council properties, focusing on routine maintenance, keeping council properties in good condition and avoiding expensive emergency repairs, as well as saving money on energy. We've also started to repurpose council buildings for valuable social care uses and helped ensure that solar energy was delivered. We have also helped take huge strides in improving communities from East Barnwell to Wisbech and ensuring future development and growth. The council feels tighter, leaner, and that its assets are well managed. It feels like a far tidier ship. Through the County Farms Working Group, we have looked at the amazing assets that this council has in its tenant farms, the unusual structure of a large number of tenant farms and an estate managed by officers working towards a greener, fairer, more caring Cambridgeshire, leads to the space for the farms estate to operate as an incubator for the future of farming, with all sorts of exciting and groundbreaking approaches to farming taking place across the county. As councillors, we have the privilege of being invited into this world and listening to and learning from those farmers. Through the shareholder subcommittee, we are giving county council-owned businesses the scrutiny they need, and again have created the space to be rigorous in our decision-making. I would like to thank the council officers who have worked on these committees, who at all times have shown hard work, dedication and a commitment to the people of Cambridgeshire. Officers from democratic services, finance, procurement, legal, communication and property areas who have brought expertise, hard work and commitment to this committee and have handled what we have thrown at them. Finally, I would like to thank the committee members. We've enjoyed some robust debate and right from the outset dealt with some curveballs, but we have provided proper scrutiny, we have made decisions and we have also given council officers a clear direction of travel. Sometimes the room has reached agreement and sometimes we have debated and argued, but that is all part of a healthy democracy. So I'll move on to item number 1, apologies for absence and declarations of interest. Will the Democratic Services Officer report any apologies for absence, please?
Thank you, Chair. We have apologies from Councillor Neil Goff, with Councillor Henry Batchelor substituting. Apologies from Councillor Steve Count, with Councillor Anne Hayes substituting, and apologies from Councillor Alex Beckett, with Councillor Anna Bradnam substituting.
Thank you. Does any member wish to declare any disclosable pecuniary interest or non-statutory disclosable interest? No. Item number 2, minutes and action log. We are being asked to approve the minutes of the committee meeting held on 22nd January 2025 as an accurate record. If any committee member wants to raise a question on the accuracy of the minutes only. I see no objections, so we will take that as carried unanimously. Attached to the minutes is an action log. Councillor Bradnam.
Just to say I wasn't at that meeting and some of us who are substituting may not have been, so I would just abstain from that.
Noted. Attached to the minutes is an action log. Do officers have any updates?
We do. We have updates to a few actions. Action 76A, disposal of Stibberton, as well as Action 77, Department for Education capital bid. For both of those actions, reports with lessons learned around management of assets and timescales were circulated to members on the 27th of February. Therefore, those actions are complete. as well as action 76C, disposal of stibbing tin. The executive director had noted the strategy of requesting a CYP business case regarding outdoor centres to the SRMP committee. So that is also complete.
Do members have any questions? In which case we are therefore asked to note the action log. Item number 3, petitions and public questions. We have received no petitions or public questions. Item number 4, sale of Shire Hall update. The appendices to this report are exempt and we will need to move into confidential session if members wish to discuss them. We will therefore move this item to the end of the meeting and we'll move on to item number 5, corporate performance report, quarter 3. Can I ask Michael Hudson, Executive Director of Finance and Resources, to present this report, which is on page 247 of your confidential agenda pack?
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, councillors. Just to confirm, this is a performance report update to the end of December 2024, i.e. quarter 4, and there is detailed both within the report and the appendices. Just wanted to draw the key points in relation to a few of the indicators. Indicator 204, first of all, in terms of the commercial income, remains red, as has been reported throughout the year, although mitigations continue to be taken around that. And indicator 205, just noting the feedback from committee last time in terms of the social value and showing the cumulative effect has been actioned within this report. There are a number of other indicators within the report relating to property, and we have colleagues at the back of the room as well who can assist me with that. But Chair, quite happy to take questions on the report.
Members, do you have any questions? Councillor Bowden.
Thank you very much indeed, Chair. My question is about indicator 206, which is the percentage of annual spend on purchased goods or services that is with suppliers that are based locally. And it's noted in the report that that indicator has gone backwards. It's still at a level which is acceptable compared with the baseline which was set, but it has gone backwards. Now, this is a difficult indicator in that it can be influenced by individual items which are one-off items or particularly large. And it's also a difficult indicator in a sense because there is potentially a conflict between this and getting best value. So I fully accept both of those points, but can any commentary be given about why this has gone in a backward direction rather than a forward direction? Is it a one-off blip? Because I would hope that we would generally see an improvement in this indicator, even though it's already above the baseline figure. I would hope we would have an improvement. So I would be interested in just a little bit more commentary about this, please, Chair.
Thank you. Through you, Chair. Completely agree. There is some commentary there about the 37 new contracts that were related to local SMEs and employers. It is felt to be a blip in terms of its the level and types of contracts that are awarded. I asked exactly the same question myself as this was coming to committee, and the procurement team will work through the analysis of the suppliers, obviously outside of the area and the types of contract. So quite happy to write back to committee with a fuller explanation of the types of contracts and where they were awarded.
Any other questions? I have a question about indicator 205, the amount of social value achieved. So does this effectively represent the salaries of people employed? What is it? Talks about individuals being employed for a first time employees. Is what exactly are we measuring in this indicator?
Yes, so through you, Chair, paragraph 3.4, I think, no, it's not 3.4, sorry, 3.3 gives some examples of the types of social value that has been secured through the types of contracts that have been let, and you know, in those instances, they're employed people who've been employed through the contracts.
Thank you. It's an area that I always find slightly struggle to understand, as it's not immediately obvious what social value means. So I think it's always worthy of explanation. Thank you. Any other questions? In which case, Would anybody wish to debate this item? In which case, the committee is asked to note performance information and act as necessary. Item number 6, committee agenda plan and appointments to internal advisory groups. Will the Democratic Services Officer update us on any changes to the published report?
No changes.
Members, we are asked to note the agenda plan. So we return to item number 4 on the agenda, sale of Shire Hall update. Could I remind members that the appendices to this report are exempt and we will need to move into confidential session should members wish to raise questions relating to them. We have, however, put this item at the end of the agenda so that we are absolutely at will to move into confidential session as ever. Can I ask Chris Ramsbottom, Service Director for Property Services, to present this report, which is on page 23 of your confidential agenda pack? Following this, I will go to members for questions that are not relating to the exempt appendices. Once we have exhausted such questions, if members wish to discuss the confidential appendices, we'll then move into confidential session.
Good morning, Chair and Committee. The report before you today asks committee members to note the content of the report and its recommendation to grant an exclusivity period to bidder E of 3 months until the 6th of June 2025 and agree the draft heads of terms which are included as an exempt appendix number 2. The main report and any questions pertaining to the content within the report are able to be answered within the public session of the committee. However, any questions regarding the detail within the 6 exempt appendices, and in particular details of the bidder and the financial structure of the bid, will be required to be discussed within confidential session due to the exempt nature of the information. As a background, items 2.1 and 2.2 inform of the time frame of the 2 separate marketing exercises for the sale of Shire Hall. Item 2.2 notes that previously it was approved at the 17th of July 2024 A&P Committee to enter into an exclusivity agreement with bidder A until the 9th of October 2024. This is detailed within exempt committee report appendix 1 and 5 of the pack. Item 2.3 informs that on the 15th of October 2024, the Executive Director of Finance and Resources gave a verbal update to committee reporting that the exclusivity period with the previous preferred bidder A had expired without an agreement or acceptable terms, and we would not be pursuing this further. We duly commenced discussions with the previously shortlisted bidders to ascertain if their interest and bid remained, and a subsequent report would be presented at a future committee with recommendations, which is the report you find before you today. Following discussions and further due diligence with the previously shortlisted bidders, bidder E is now recommended as the preferred bidder, and the full details of their bid is included within exempt confidential appendices 1, 4 and 6. Item 3.2 informs that negotiations have proceeded with bidder E and a draft head of terms has been prepared by both parties and is included within confidential appendix 2. Item 4 informs of the 4 options available to committee today, with option 3 the recommended by officers, which is to proceed with bidder E's bid. Item 5.1 within the report confirms the reasoning for the recommendations in that bidder E is the highest financially, provides best consideration, proposes a short time to exchange, and has excellent environmental commitments to provide a net zero building. It is an unconditional long leasehold offer, not dependent on planning consent. Therefore, we ask committee to approve the 5 recommendations A to E within the report. Thank you and would welcome any questions.
Thank you. Members, do you have any questions for Chris? Councillor Goldsack.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Chris. Chris, we've been at this now for pushing 6 years, I think it is. What's the backup plans should bidder E, and I really hope bidder E doesn't, but should bidder E take the route of the previous successful bidder and withdraw this summer? Where does that leave us if that happens? And have we got any contingency planned for that event?
I think it's fair to say that we are we are confident that bidderies will go forward. But if that was to fall by in the agreement, if approved today, we again have learnt lessons from the previous bid and put a 3-month period on that exclusivity. But if that was to fall away, we'd need to take advice in terms of whether we then continue and look at the other shortlisted ones that's in the report, or whether we would need to review that and possibly look at remarketing. But that's for discussions with colleagues if that came to fruition.
Thank you, Chris. And a follow-up to that, and I don't. This is not me deliberately baiting a hook and throwing it out there, but has any consideration been taken place with regards to local government reform and the ownership of this building moving forward?
It has. I mean, we've added into the report an additional option for committee today. Option 4 suggests we could look at LGR, the reorganisation, sorry, and stop this process basically until we know further. I mean, obviously the LGR is not known in terms of what the outcome is yet, but we've put that option in for committee to debate and think about.
Michael.
Chair, just to add to that, and it's page 25 of members' pack. There is a rough estimation square footage basis for conversion of the old Shire Hall in terms of suitable office accommodation. You'll see there that could be up to £40 million. That's a significant swing from the proposal that's on the table. I think clearly members will have a very good debate, I'm sure, at the next full council relating to this matter. But the clarity of that may yield yet further options. So I think pursuing and moving forward, given the financial cost that it would take in terms of the Shire Hall, or the old Shire Hall, in terms of its investment needed before we even talk about the carbon footprint, is significant.
Can I follow up on that? So in terms of a council or a unitary authority, is 30 to 40 million pounds a big number? Like, do we have that money at our disposal, or is it a sort of, that would be really hard to find? And would that deliver a building that would be appropriate for the way modern day councils operate?
In shorthand, we will be looking at the capital receipt from the sale of this within our existing medium-term financial plan. So we'd first of all need to remove that receipt, and then we'd need to build in the cost, because that is not cost that we presently have built in. So that would need to be identified how we would fund that. And as at present, there are no proposals or plans in what is going to be a very difficult few years in terms of setting the budget. So it would add yet more pressure.
So it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, yes.
Councillor Dupre.
Thank you, Chair. I was a bit bemused by the thinking behind option 4 and the suggestion that there could be a need post local government reorganisation for larger office accommodation. It seems to me that one of the probably inevitable results of local government reorganisation will be a glut of surplus public sector local government office accommodation, coupled with the move that is still going on, I think, regarding continued working from home in some form or another, plus the fact that we will have spent an inordinate amount of money reorganising ourselves, which means that there will be probably even less to spend on actual services. I'm wondering what the thinking is behind option 4 at all, because it seems to me highly unlikely that people will be going out going, oh, we need lots of big office space and we can't find any.
Michael.
It's purely an option. It's just on there to reflect that it could be an option. I certainly know from my own experience of working at a council that became a unitary back in 2010, Wiltshire, that the office accommodation was significant factor in terms of what then drove the council over the next 10 years. And you've certainly seen some rationalisation in some of those unitaries that have gone before. And so I think it's a very a difficult consideration, and one that needs careful thought. So we only set it out here as a financial reporting in terms of an option. And as we drew out, or as I drew out before, that financial cost isn't budgeted for. Whether there would be a need and whether the need would be of that size, I think will be a next stage after LGR. And there are examples of where that has happened, and there are examples of where that hasn't happened in those councils that have gone before us.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councillor Bradnam.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to ask on option 3, which is proceed with bidder E. Forgive me, it's not been clear to me whether the land which was protected outside Old Shire Hall will continue to be enjoy the protection of a green space outside, and there was a public right of way through the land. Does that bid reflect that protection?
Thank you. And that includes, of course, Castle Hill Mound. Chris?
Mound.
Yeah, so on the Shire Hall site, we've got 2 scheduled ancient monuments, the Castle Mound and the Civil War earthworks. Both of those are excluded from the sale. The Town and Village Green application, the County Council itself has submitted that, and that's working its way through. So that's not going to stop. And the red line area that bidder E is looking to acquire or to lease doesn't take in any of the Castle Mound, any of the Civil War earthworks, or the lawns and front car park. So nothing in front of Shire Hall. They're all excluded.
Councillor Bradnam.
Thank you very much. The reason I hesitated before was because I wasn't sure whether this would constitute confidential information. So what I wanted to ask is, since John Macmillan has mentioned it, it doesn't include any of the car parks. And I'm just thinking, where will people park?
Is this something that can be answered in public, or should it move over to confidential?
I think I can answer the question on car parking. The proposal of bidder E does include 4 car parking within the site of the finished product, and the car parking that we have will complement that, but there is extensive car parking within the proposals.
Very much.
Any other questions? Would anybody like to debate this in public? Would anybody like to ask a question in confidential session, in which case we can move to we can agree to move to confidential session? Yeah. So members, we have no further public comments on this item. We will pause this item and move into confidential session if we all agree, for which it is necessary to exclude the press and public. Do members agree to resolve that the press and public be excluded from the meeting on the grounds that the agenda contains exempt information under paragraph 3 of part 1 of schedule 12A of the Local Government Act 1972 as amended, and that it would not be in the public interest for this information to be disclosed? Information relating to the financial or business affairs of any particular person, including the authority holding that information. Can I see those in favour? Thank you. That's carried. We will now stop the broadcast for the confidential session. We will reopen the meeting to the public for the vote. However, it will not be live streamed. The result of the vote and the recommendations will be published on the website in the decision statement and the minutes. As this is the last item of our public items, our next meeting is scheduled for 10 June at 10 a.m. Thank you.